Our hours are Monday 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Friday 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Please hold and a client information officer will be with you as soon as possible.
Please note your call will be recorded for quality and training purposes. Thank you for calling. All our operators are busy at present. Please hold and we will be with you as soon as possible.
Thank you for calling. You're speaking with Gabrielle.
Yeah, hi, it's
Macarena, bala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, que tu cuerpo para dar la alegría y cosas buenas. Bala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, Macarena.
Lisa Jones speaking. I was just wanting to speak to someone with regard to an email I got sent back to myself in regards to an application we put forward to register a charity. The person's name at the bottom, I think, is Svetlana.
Okay. And what was your user ID?
Let me just see if it's on here. Excuse me.
Or the reference?
Would that be in the email that she sent through?
Not sure, sorry.
Oh, here we go. Try this. AD, capital A, D0.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, actually, it might be an O.
Mm-hmm.
05.
And the name of the organization?
$1 for a change.
Okay. I'll just quickly put you on hold, and I'll just have a look into it. One moment.
Thank you.
Thank you for holding there. Are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so was this in regards to the email that was sent on the 4th?
Yeah.
Yep. And you just wanting clarification about the whole email, or was it just part?
Yeah.
The whole thing?
Yeah, look, yeah, basically, like, it's really big questions. Like, if you've had a glance at it yourself, like, they're massive questions to, I'd challenge anyone to answer them, but I want to know if we can, basically discuss it and see what we can come up with. Yeah.
Okay, and what was your first name?
Lisa?
Okay, I'll just see if she's available. One moment. I've got Svetlana on the line for you. Go ahead when you're ready.
All right, thank you.
Hi Lisa, how are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
Good, thank you. How can I help you?
I'm just replying, or I just wanted to discuss the email that you sent back to me with regards to the charity $1 for a change.
Mm-hmm.
Firstly, I have to say, wow, you did a really brilliant job. I didn't anticipate anyone would go through it that thoroughly. But amazing questions, but just big questions. So basically, I just wanted to discuss with you, I used a template in order to draft that first constitution and try to outline as best I could what we're trying to achieve.
Okay.
I think I probably used the worst template I could have, and after I went back, I had a look, and the charity I used as a draft is deregistered as well. So that simply explains half of that. But basically, I just wanted to explain to you that the whole concept and the whole idea was just among myself and a few other friends where we wanted to be able to have a vehicle to support change in whatever capacity that meant, maybe agreed upon by us, say. And with regard to the dollar, basically we just wanted to be able to have the means to contribute $1 a week each independently for however long, as long as we all felt comfortable to do that. And so going along those tracks, I went down to a different set of banks here in Whangarei, and they advised that, look, the best way to do that, to be able to have a bank account where you can debit $1 without incurring transaction fees, is to be registered as a charity, which brought us to sort of where we are now. It's a pretty big idea, and I know, like, with what I said in the Constitution, it was a little bit hard to be specific on different points and things like that. But when I've gone back through your questions to review, they're really big questions. Like, it sounds like we're trying to save the world here. We're just trying to establish an entity that will allow us to, take a bit of action, I suppose, and to,
We really need a lot of information from you because, there's a fine line as to what is charitable and what is not.
Right.
Doing good is great, but it's not always charitable. So, for example, you say that you wanted to support change.
Right.
in a lot of the times that involves engaging in political advocacy, which is not charitable. And that's what I've found with some other organizations, and therefore we wouldn't be able to register them. That's why I really needed to know what exactly you're doing and how you're proposing to do all of these things. And the reason why I'm asking you how you will actually be doing this is that we also have to assess your activities and make sure that they do advance an accepted charitable purpose. So it's quite a complex area of law, but we really do need all of that information in order to make an informed decision whether you're eligible to be registered or not.
Right. Yeah, no, I understand. I think it's really good. I think it's fantastic. And like I say, I think you've done a brilliant job. Like, really, really good job with the questions you've come back with. Are really thorough and thought out, obviously. We're going to give it another shot. We're going to have another look at maybe some more template constitutions and things like that and see how we can be more specific with our ideas. But we really ultimately do want to have a charitable purpose, which is the reason we haven't looked at the idea of going private either, because you've obviously got the option of registering a limited or something like that. But I like the idea of being governed by, one, a constitution, and two, the laws surrounding charitable entities as well, because I think that keeps everyone honest and everyone still understands, why we're involved in what we're involved in, which is cool.
Yeah. Oh, sorry to interrupt you. Just to give you a bit more clarification about that.
Please. Yeah.
If you really want to do something which is not charitable by definition, and we cannot register you, there are also other options for you. So for example, if you establish a charitable trust, you would be governed by the Charitable Trust Act, and if you read through that act, that also offers you quite a lot of protection. Or in the alternative, there's also the Incorporated Societies Act, which gives you also the protections in that it prevents that private pecuniary profit. So no member would be able to make profit out of the organization. So it would be a society of people getting together for a common purpose. So even if you don't get through the cracks of being a charity, there still are some options for you guys as well. If you're really passionate as to what you want to do, but you don't fall within that definition.
Awesome. That's really cool. I appreciate that. And I appreciate that you understand, that we are passionate, and it's a really important thing, because I've just come back from Australia and I've met a lot of people that feel the same way that I do, and now being back in New Zealand and Whangarei, it's really hard to find those types of people that have gone through similar experiences to have the similar sort of feelings that we do, and I think once you do, and you have that passion, it's, you want to maintain that, because it's, big things that we're talking about. But say, for instance, like the premise that, that we discussed originally for $1 for a change was being able to debit to a mutual fund $1 a week. Having that charity status allows us to do that without incurring $15 transaction fees, which kind of defeats the purpose. So then with those funds, there was, debate about what they would be used for. And what I was trying to do was create a type of platform where everyone could have a type of opinion that was contributing as to where best they felt the funds could be distributed. And then amongst general consensus, the funds would then be distributed to that entity, whatever that entity be. But I guess that's where we need to be a little bit more specific, so we need to describe, yeah. So
what you are telling me is that basically how you will, go about making that change is actually giving the funds that you have in your bank account to other organizations, so supporting them to pursue their charitable purposes. Is that what you're telling me?
I guess so, yeah. Not only even charitable purposes, but I was hoping we could broaden that to the scope of individuals and groups that maybe aren't even formalised entities, because that's where I see a lot of people struggling, people that are passionate, and aren't formalised. So if we can help to support those groups,
So basically what you then need to do is to have your purposes amended, definitely.
Okay.
So basically, providing monetary assistance towards charities is charitable in itself. So you just, in order to be registered with us, you have to make sure that the money is used in order to advance charitable purposes. So, you can actually directly help people who are, for example, in need. You can help fund somebody to study, students. So that would be advancing education. We just need to see, what you're actually proposing with respect to that. But
Brilliant.
just maybe redrafting your purposes to reflect what you actually will be doing rather than saying, making a change. Actually, your purposes should reflect what your entity will actually be doing, like I said. So maybe if you say something on the lines of, relieving poverty by assisting people who are in need, paying for their groceries or something like that. And, even if you want to give money towards charitable organizations, that's what you that's what you should put into your purposes as well. Giving money just to organizations that you think are great, that do not advance charitable purposes, that's not okay by us. And that would actually prevent you from being registered, because Section 13 of the Charities Act under B says, that you have to have that an organization has to be established and maintained for charitable purposes, and that to us means that you have to use your income towards charitable purposes. So if you don't do that, you wouldn't be eligible for registration. But what I would suggest to you is to go to our website at charities.govt.nz, and on the right-hand side, you've got a little heading under Actions which says Browse Information Sheets. And if you click on those information sheets, there are a lot of information sheets, including one which talks about the rules in the Charities Act, what you should have in your rules. There's also a specific information sheet on charitable purposes, and it tells you, that you also have to provide a public benefit, and it talks about all different kinds of charitable purposes. So that should give you at least some indication as to what our requirements are, and maybe assist you in redrafting your purposes as well, because I think there's one also that gives you examples of charitable purposes drafting, maybe the rules in the Charities Act one. Let me just have a look.
So just to clarify on that point, as long as the other entities that we're giving funds to are charitable as well and are registered as charitable, that's fine, but they can't be individuals or groups that aren't registered as any type of formalized entity. Is that right?
No, that's not correct. So we like it the best if you would assist registered charities, because that kind of gives us an indication that the money is used towards charitable purposes. But you can support organizations that are not on our register, but in that instance, you will actually have to give us submissions and explain to us, how you're advancing a charitable purpose by supporting such organizations. So you would have to actually prove to us that that organization is advancing charitable purposes. Also for individuals, you can assist individuals, but you have to assist them in a charitable way. You can help out people who are poor, for example, directly. You don't have to go through other charities, because if you're a registered charity, you
that's the point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you can also maybe, I don't know, some organizations, for example, have funds and they give out scholarships, or just things like that. So, but you definitely can help out organizations that are not on the register and individuals, but then we'll probably come back and have a lot of other questions for you, because we will just have to satisfy ourselves, that basically your money will be used towards charitable purposes.
Yeah, no, look, that's brilliant. I absolutely understand that, and that's okay, yeah.
So next step, what I suggest that you do is, look at our information sheets, in particular the one on rules in the Charities Act and on specific charitable purposes, just to see whether you recognize your purposes within any of those. And that should then give you some assistance in redrafting your purposes. And there are also community law centres around. I'm not sure whether you're aware of any. Maybe they would be able to assist you as well if you're unsure about the drafting or your requirements.
Yeah, yep. Definitely. Look, I want to give it a shot, and I thought the best person to speak to at first would be yourself, and you've definitely been a huge help. And I'll put it again to the group of people that were interested in doing this with me and see what they have to say, and we'll see if we can be a bit more specific with the purposes. I tried to steer away from that as much as I could because I didn't want to emerge as like the administrator or anything like that. Like I really tried to keep a group of people where everyone was sort of able to contribute decisions and make things happen for themselves. So I didn't want to sort of predetermine anything and then say, hey, this is the way that it is because I've decided. Like I wanted everyone to have input, but, you know, not everyone can read, I guess, the terminology of legislation and, you know, the requirements and things like that. So you do have to kind of be a bit of a facilitator to some extent to get these things done. But definitely going to give it another shot. I noticed on that email you mentioned, you know, if we haven't responded by July the 2nd, then that makes that void. Is that right?
No, it doesn't make it void. It just means that we can then decline you and you would have to make a new application. But basically what I would suggest is that you send me an email and request an extension.
Okay.
So if you want another month's extension, I don't see any problems with that until you get yourself sorted. And if you want to send me a copy of your draft rules, I'm more than happy to have a look at that, you know, and give you some feedback and tell you whether you're on the right track or not.
Appreciate that a lot. That that means sense. That's really cool. All right, I'll do that then. That sounds fantastic. I do have time frames. I will have to get it done in the next sort of few weeks, just my own type of schedule and things like that. But no, look, thank you so much for your help. Like it's not, I've dealt with many people like this, and it's not often you get someone that's forthcoming and helpful. I really appreciate that.
No worries at all. Thanks for calling, Lisa.
All right, thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.